And we're going to go in 5, 4, 3.
You're listening to the Converted Podcast, the podcast about the Guild Convert to Raid on Airy Peak, US.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 116 of the Converted Podcast, the World of Warcraft podcast all about the Convert to Raid Guild on Airy Peak, US. Today is November 13th, 2017. It is just about 6:12 p.m. Airy Peak local time, and we are unfortunately now living in a post-BlizzCon 2017 world. I want to be living in an BlizzCon world because I want to go back to BlizzCon. Thank you, everybody, very much for joining us. Sal, what's going on this week?
In this episode, we have CTR Party picks are here. They're in. We have them. Okay, your converted shoutouts. T and Eshelon are here with all the guild happenings and the award-winning Kazul Fox with her partner in crime, Frostee Fox. Yay!
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The winners of the BlizzCon 2017 cosplay contest are here in the house. Say hi to the folks at home, Kaz and Frosty. Oh, my goodness.
How you doing? We're here.
I'm stutter mess.
Hey, everyone. and Hogger's here. He's hanging out.
They also brought Hogger.
Yay!
I am the
He's
stuttering.
quite a handful at our house.
I am the stuttering Barfolomew the Paladin, and with me today, as always, is Salmices the Shaman.
So I came down with con crud. I definitely got the con crud. I got it a couple days ago, so I'm still a little bit sniffly, but I'm definitely feeling better now. I know I'm feeling better now. I mean, I'm starting to feel better because I started to clean, you know, to get rid of the clutter. And I'm like, it's driving me crazy. That's how I know that I'll probably be able to go to work tomorrow. But can I do my shout outs at the top of the show instead of at the end? Is that okay? Do I have your permission? Because I just don't want to forget to do this. So 2017 was probably my favorite BlizzCon ever, and it was my 5th BlizzCon, right? And I want to just say, you know, how amazing it was and how amazing the CTR party was and how it was great to hug everybody. I'll get the con crud. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I probably got it from Kaz anyway. I mean, let's be real.
Probably.
But I want to say, you know, to Dr. Pope, thank you so much. And yeah, thank you. Also, Kalani Negus Buttress, the Buttress who I never met before, and now is a good friend of mine. I think he's kind of awesome. So Kalani, Negus, the Buttress, and Barf, you, and anyone else that helped me while I was limping around. Because I was limping around BlizzCon. Everyone who like came with me in the Ubers, even though it was like 2 blocks, you know, yeah, I felt like I was like disabled, you know, and like all my friends were just like with there and like carrying my suitcase for me and stuff. And yes, I went and saw the doctor yesterday, so I'm getting better for it. And I just, you know, I feel so much like love for like all my friends, and I'm really happy. And it was a good BlizzCon. So I'm gonna that's what's up with me. I'm really happy. And yeah. Go next.
Well, thank you very much for your shout out. Now we're gonna have Ash's raid report, and then after that we're gonna have the guest on.
There we go.
That was the Midwestern girl next door that you've always been dying to meet. It's Turarts. Turarts, what's up?
Hey, not much. So excited to have the gang back together because 3 weeks is always way too long for us to be apart. But yeah, the CTR party, the live stream went really well. Tons of prizes to give out, and even though we had some hiccups, people we had on it, Coltrane, holy hell, I'm gonna cuss, holy hell, amazing to see him again. The devs that we had on, Lore, Automatic Jack, and Celestalon, it's always great to see the people from Blizzard just stepping in to say hi. But the live stream was epic. So glad I got to attend. And then Kaz, when you won and we'll talk about this later, just the chatter we had in Discord, it was just so amazing to see the community come together. But chat room, you know what to do. Get me those chat room shout outs. You can do them at us still by tweeting at converted_CTR, converted_CTR. That stuttering is contagious. But Barfanova, Barfalicious, tell us what you've been up to, hon.
Well, I didn't really do it very much in the last couple of weeks. It was mostly just sitting around bored at home.
Not that much.
Went to my first ever BlizzCon, and holy smokes, Sal, you undersold it, first of all. It was like the coolest thing. Like, I'm going to do the rambling thing too, I guess, man. Everybody there, I didn't have a negative experience for the entire time I was there. If we interacted, it was a positive experience for me, period, out there. It was bananas. So, I feel like I'll go on a little bit of a rant during shout-outs at the end of the show because no one wants to listen to me talk. Because tonight, I mean, we already knew that tonight was going to be special anyways, but it's even more special now after what happened at BlizzCon 2017. It's Kaz and Frostee. They're here in the house.
Yes, we are so excited to be here. And I don't know if you can sell BlizzCon as much as you want. I don't think that it'll ever live up to, I think everybody's first BlizzCon is always like that kind of like eye-opening experience. So I don't know. What do you think?
I completely agree. Like, he got to experience my first BlizzCon. It was like your fourth or third.
Third, yeah.
And he got to like introduce me to BlizzCon and walk me around and show me, and it was amazing.
That's the best. That's the best to be able to do that. I got to hang out with a bunch of first timers, including, and I've told this story a few times. One of my favorite things was seeing Barf talk to Christy Golden. You know,
yeah,
and just his face, like this big smile, and he's like, "Thank you for the world that you've created," and and Barf, are you reaching for something?
No, I just wanted to show everybody. Whoa, geez.
He's reaching for a weapon.
Look
at that!
Got my Christy Golden autograph in the house. What's up? Brought it with me all the way back home.
Sweet.
And another thing that happened in the very same room, as a matter of fact, when Silverbolt met someone who makes the plush toys. That designs, because she collects whelplings. I didn't know that. I had no idea she had a whelpling collection, a Blizzard whelpling collection. And she just geeked out over someone who makes plushies and talked to her for half an hour. I'm sitting down going, is it lunchtime yet? And she's jumping up and down talking to the plushie maker. And I'm like, this. It's like watching kids on Christmas, and that's just, it is just the best. Tink brought his daughter, and she cosplayed as Diva.
That's awesome. I think BlizzCon's one of those places where, no matter where you are, you can have those kind of conversations. You can be in even the worst part of BlizzCon, waiting in the store line, and you can find somebody to just chat with about whatever. Everybody speaks the same language. We're all friends. Doesn't matter Horde or Alliance. You can talk about whatever game.
Yeah.
We can let them go, sometimes.
But really, congratulations.
Yes.
For winning this year.
Thank you.
How many BlizzCons have you competed in?
This was my fifth one.
Fifth?
Yeah. So this is the fifth time going to BlizzCon and the fifth time competing. So it took a while, but and I totally didn't expect it because I'd only gotten honorable mentions before, a couple of them, and to jump from honorable mention to first place, that's incredible.
You didn't expect it. Did you see your costume?
I mean, I've been looking at it for months. So.
The whole time, when we saw the other cosplayers, the whole day, she's like, there's no way, I don't even know if I'm going to get an honorable mention or anything like that. But it's because everybody at BlizzCon, they bring their A game when it comes to cosplay. It's top notch.
BlizzCon is the toughest competition of any convention I've ever seen. There are so many spectacular cosplayers, so many cool builds, and it's so much fun to sit backstage and stuff and talk to these people about their cosplays because they're just as passionate as I am about building, and it's fun. It's like, that's my geeking out moment, is just talking to other people who build stuff.
Sure.
We have like a Facebook group where a lot of cosplayers are there, and they're sharing their work as the year goes on. So it's kind of like before the cosplay competition actually happens, before the show happens, there's a chance where like we can kind of mingle and talk to each other, and like you can be like, oh wow, I watched you build this for like the last 6 months, you know, and you actually get to see it in real life. But then there's other people that show up like you don't even know, like people show up out of nowhere, and you're
and
like,
be like an amazing Tannis and Alarak and like just blow your mind. Jeez.
Well, I mean, you were talking about there for a second that, like, it's just the toppest notch of competition and everybody's, like, putting in their A game. I got a chance to see this costume, like, IRL. Like, I had Hogger's head in my hand, and I'm, like, looking at his face. There is detail on this thing that I would have argued didn't need to exist, because most people would see it from the audience, or most people would see it from the other side of a camera. There are fine, tiny details on this thing. The tongue has a texture. There's little dog bumps on the nose, and it's got a scratch on it where like there was a scar. There's
And it's
all
a little
these...
bit red on the scratch. Yeah, and like the veins on the eyes.
There's so much fine, and I mean, it's almost indescribable. And to say that like you saw all of that and then went, I don't know, man. There's also a lot of really great costumes here. Like, I kind of next year want to sneak my way backstage and just look at everybody's costumes right there in my face.
Well, like, here's a hint. Anytime you see a cosplayer at BlizzCon, go up to them and talk to them. Say, man, your cosplay is cool. Can I look at it closer? And they'll be like, I guarantee it that they'll be happy to be like, oh, yeah, look at this thing. And if you ask them how they made it, they'll like just like talk your ear off for a while. So
if you want to see them all gathered, Hall E on the first day usually is when all the judging is happening. So we start to all kind of congregate in one big place. So
yeah.
And we didn't even get to all the details on him, right? There's still details we didn't even get to add in.
I wanted to give him little whiskers, and I wanted to like weather his clothes a little more. But I did get sick right before BlizzCon and was very sick at BlizzCon. I usually do some work in the hotel room, but I was just like, nah, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, I heard some rumors you guys were there that you were the patient zero for the con crud this year.
Probably. It was bad. Like, I woke up the morning we were supposed to leave to drive to BlizzCon, and I like couldn't talk. I couldn't breathe.
She could go to work, anything.
I had so much like phlegm and snot in my mouth that it like took effort to like cough it up so that my air channel was open, and my throat hurt so bad. My ears hurt really bad. It was like pressure and like infection feeling, and it was bad.
She was like constantly on drugs during the BlizzCon the entire week. I was like carrying around like a mobile pharmacy. She'd be like, all right, I need Dayquil and this and this. Okay, here you go. Every few hours.
Mucus medicine. Yeah, everything.
You know, and all of us who had like been following you like on Twitter and Facebook and stuff like this whole time, you know, it just kind of came around. Oh, Kaz is sick. Kaz is sick. Oh no, what's gonna happen? Is she okay? What's gonna, you know?
I was really worried that like I was sick enough to the point where I would have almost thrown in the towel. If I was that sick on contest day, I was like, there's no way I can wear this thing.
Would you have like made me figure out some way to fit in it?
I don't know. I might have been like, anybody who's 5'2", like, come see me. You're going to be Hogger for the day.
No one could have done like the puppeteering that you had obviously practiced so much.
Yeah, that's a good point.
See, there was that, like I said, we were talking about the details. I had 2 goals when finishing for building Hogger. Like, my first goal was the movement. I wanted it to be fluid. I wanted there to be a lot of extra movement, what's called sympathetic movement. It's like movement that you do, like his ears wobbling around. Like, I just move the head a little and his ears jiggle around. The hair on his mane, the hair on the tail. Like, I wanted a lot of that, just sympathetic movement. Also, I wanted the neck and head to be really lively and moving around a lot, and so to convince people that it was alive. So movement was my first goal. The second goal was finish. So I wanted like an incredible amount of detail everywhere. And so I did work really hard on those two things.
But I mean, it's clear, it's obvious when you look at it that just tons and tons of time, effort, blood, and sweat went into this suit, man. It really, like, I can't oversell it. It's impossible to do. Like, there was so much tiny little, and I mean, you were describing to us. Silver and I came up on, I want to say it was Sunday morning, and visited you when you guys were starting to pack things up, and you were telling us about how the outsides of the lips were done using these materials, and then these other materials were used to build the nose, which to this distance looked like they could have been the same thing, but nope, you do it this way because it looks better. Like there were so many little tiny little, like, you guys were talking shop and I wasn't able to follow most of it because I don't know anything about this stuff, but man, like it was really fascinating to listen to, like, all of the detail about how all of that went down. You said that this was your 5th build for BlizzCon. How much of this have you guys done? Like, how far back does this go?
Well, I built my very first costume for myself in 2009.
Yeah.
That was like, I had just moved out of home, like went off to college, and I decided to like build myself a Halloween costume that year. And I built myself like a cougar mascot because the school I was going to was the Cougars. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be the female cougar, and I also joined juggling club, so I'm like, okay, I'll be the juggling club's mascot, and I unicycled and juggled while in that mascot. So that was me. But I have built since then, like, quite a few. I did a couple commissions.
They're floating out there.
I've probably built
10 or at least 15, probably.
15, 18
Cosplays,
maybe.
some sort, yeah.
Costumes like this. So.
Not of this.
Not.
Yeah.
This was my most hours and most complicated, detailed one. But yeah, my most ambitious build, I would say.
There you go. Ambitious is a good way to put it.
We're gonna reverse it a little bit. Let's start at the end, and then we're going to work our way to the beginning of Hogger. So basically, you won BlizzCon. What does that entail? Like, what does winning BlizzCon mean?
Not just the costume contest. You guys won BlizzCon.
You won BlizzCon.
The weekend. Like, congratulations on being the winners of the entire weekend.
That's how I feel. So, the winner gets there's a special thing. Like, I have a choice. I can choose, because there's a cash prize and it's pretty big. I can choose $3,500, or I can choose $2,500 and a tribute in the game.
Ooh.
Which, of course, you can get money any old way. But you can only get into a Blizzard game this way.
Being in WoW is forever.
And it's forever. So I'm going to choose that. Of course, it's not my choice. They will decide how to honor me in the game. I'll tell you what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, we've come up with a thing that we like. You never know what they're going to decide. It can be anything.
Because one of my favorite things in the game is the costume toys.
Yeah.
So a long time ago, a few years ago, they gave away like a limited cookie that turns you into a gnoll, into Hogger at Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
I want a toy that does that and name it like Kaz's Magic Wand or something. So if they did just that, then
that turns you into Hogger.
Turns you into Hogger.
You absolutely have to have the part where you scratch your butt with the axe.
Oh, of course.
That's the toy's name. Kaz's Smelly Butt Axe. Perfect.
There you go.
That's what it's going to be. It's just going to be a weapon. It'll have like a little flavor text there.
Something, but I will let you guys know. Like, I'll spread it all over once it's in game, and you guys can all go collect whatever item or see whatever NPC or whatever they decide to do.
One of our friends we were rooming with said there should be an NPC that's like standing behind the trees watching Hogger, and like saying how much they studied Hogger, and then they're the one who gives you the wand. So
yeah,
that's what Silverbolt is saying right now.
Yes.
A human female behind a tree sketching Hogger and taking notes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And sneezing.
Okay, so can we just and sneezing? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Can we all just talk about like what we would want as in-game tribute? So we like an actual like NPC standing in the bushes, right? A toy. I think that's got to be the best. I think because it's with you at any time. Like I guess you can always mog a weapon with a flavor text, but you can only use it. It would just be in your bank.
You don't ever see it, right? Yeah.
Right. What other kind of tributes do they have? There's always the kind where where there'll be like incense on a mountain or something. It's like, oh, here's our beloved friend. We've seen these tributes before.
Yeah.
How about a quest line?
That would be amazing.
You have to make quest line to make your own Hogger costume.
And then infiltrate the gnomes.
Which
gnomes?
Become their leader.
Gnomes.
If you've we did our BlizzCon recap episode, and I recapped the horrific experience that I had on stage. But there was a quest idea for that. So.
Yeah. So we said that like there should be like a knoll or a quest where like Hogger got out of the stockades and you have to go and find him because he's lost out in the forest. Bring him back.
I honestly thought, and I know what you're talking about, I thought that was part of it. It wasn't until someone told me later that wasn't part of it that was like, oh my God, I want to go hug her now. I thought that was part of it.
No.
What might have won your contest?
She's so embarrassed. She hasn't even watched the video of it yet. She will not watch the video.
I'm so embarrassed. Okay, so we'll tell you what happened on stage, just to recap for your listeners who. Okay, so
let's start when we get backstage for the contest. How about that?
We got backstage for the contest, and they tell us, "Oh, we've flipped the stage this year." They'd already told us that they're gonna make us do this weird thing where they send us on in groups and. Have us line up on the back of the stage. And I'm already a little worried because Hogger's a little hard to see in. And
then they say, okay, there's going to be arrows and stuff on the floor because usually there was arrows or some indicator of what direction to go.
Like lines every few steps of where you should go. So I'm like, okay. We came up with a backup plan beforehand. Like inside Hogger's neck, I have quite a bit of space. So we put a walkie-talkie in there, and Frosty was supposed to be able to like see the stage and coach me where to go. So we had that in place.
Yeah.
So
we get it like basically about the point we get to the stage, we realize
we're on deck.
There's no lines in the stage. There's just like a dot way out there
where I'm supposed to go, and then another dot where I'm supposed to go and pose. So I'm already worried. I'm already kind of nervous because I'm like, they flipped the stage. I don't know where to go. And so I'm like, okay, please, Frosty, just get me through this. So the curtains open and I walk out and like Frosty cuts out.
Oh.
He can't talk to me.
So there was a miscommunication between the Blizzard stage people and the DirecTV production crew. And so when she went on stage, they were like, no, you can't stand here and do that. And so they were like, get out of here.
Get out of here, get out of here. So he couldn't see the stage, so he couldn't direct me.
So I went running backstage to find like a monitor so I could at least like see what was going on and try to help. But by then it was like...
Well, by then I was already like panicking. And like I said, I was like super sick and tired from all day, so I was like panicking.
So she was like delusional anyway.
My instinct to go out on stage is to turn right, but there was like stuff there.
Go
so
right.
Like, turning, and I'm like, oh wait, I can't go that way. Oh wait, I can't go that way. So I started and
I joked with her after because if you look, there's like the Steadicam crew standing right there, and so she comes like face to face with them, and they're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I was completely lost on stage, like completely. I had no idea where I was. I had no idea where the edge of the stage was. I had no idea where I was supposed to go. So I just wandered around until I found the cosplayers. And once I found them, they were trying to be nice and be like, no, you have to go over there. You have to go over there. But I couldn't see where they were pointing. So I just, my voice was gone as well. So I couldn't like communicate to them that I couldn't see. So I just like I'm like, well, I found the cosplayers, so this must be the back of the stage. So I just turned around and sort of like muscled my way into the line. That's what I did.
Hogger's vision is limited to about 2 feet barely in front of him.
I can see
like,
the
straight
ground
down,
2
basically.
feet in front of me.
So,
the ground straight down.
if
I can kind of see out of his mouth a little bit, but it's like periscope and kind of limited. But I mean, so I was completely lost on stage, but I'm glad people got a kick of it. I was so panicked and just in my own head that I couldn't hear any cheers or laughs or nothing, and I'm still super embarrassed.
I keep trying to tell her everybody loved it. Don't even worry about it now.
Well, I did get dozens of messages after that. They're like, "Oh, you nailed the stage walk. That was so hilarious. I loved it. It was so in character." And Hogger would have that's exactly what Hogger would have done. So I don't know. I guess it went good, but I'm still embarrassed.
Either way, you're not judged on your stage performance, so it's okay. So it works out.
I'm still stuck on, they told you couldn't bring, like, you were not the only costume out there that would have had limited visibility. Like, if you're, you know, a Jano or somebody and you got a full face exposed and you can walk out and say hi and smile to everybody, that's one thing. But, I mean, there were a bunch of costumes that were like this. Like, how do they, not to crap all over Blizzard after having said that they were an amazing convention, but, like, it seems like a safety thing. Like, I'm surprised that they said that is all.
It's in the contest rules that you are supposed to navigate the stage by yourself.
Oh, never mind.
Safely.
Never mind.
So, I mean, we had planned for this. Like, I had practiced moving with, like, him talking at me.
And with the lights off.
And with the lights off. And so, I mean, we'd prepared as much as we could, but all our preparation went out the window with the two main things that, you know, they had flipped the stage. If the stage was the same as it was the 4 years previous that I'd competed, I would have been able to navigate my way fine.
And it wasn't really Blizzard's fault. It was kind of like a miscommunication. Like there wasn't any communication between, because there's a backstage. There was a DirecTV production crew, and they like kind of operate independently. So like Blizzard kind of like hands you off to them, and then like you're there while you're doing stuff, and then. And they're super busy anyway, because like they have to keep on schedule and all that.
If Frosty would have been able to like see me clearly and direct me, that would have been fine too. It just all our preparations just like went out the door, and I was panicking. So
the famous saying of like even the best laid plans, you know, like it just happens. And men.
Yeah, I've heard it. Mm-hmm.
And it was funny. Like by the time I got to a monitor anyway. Like I get backstage and I'm like on the radio again, and I see her kind of like trying to figure out what I'm saying. I don't even know if she could even hear me at that point.
Well, he got to the point where he was just like, "Oh, cosplayers are trying to help you." I'm like, "They're not helping me." So it was bad. I was embarrassed, but I'm glad people got a kick out of it.
We apologized to all of them, and then they're like, "Don't worry about it."
They were like, "Oh, it's fun. It was fun."
So let's get down to the nitty-gritty about Hogger. How long did it take to make Hogger?
I started in April, so it was about 7 months of work. And April. That's when I started building.
But there was stuff before.
There was planning and research before. Yeah. I basically had to. I took a little while to decide on what to do. Usually on the drive home from BlizzCon, I've decided what I'm going to do next year. But this time, I took a little while. It was about the end of December, the beginning of January that I had nailed down. Yeah, I'm doing Hogger, and I started doing the planning and researching stage. So,
he was on the list, but we hadn't decided until about then, right?
All in all, probably about 500 hours of work.
Wow.
Many days of like coming home from work and going straight to my workroom and working for hours. So a second job, basically.
Yeah, because this isn't
like a month or so. I'd cook dinner when she'd come home. We'd eat, and then we'd go and work on whatever just for the day.
Yeah, until about 1 o'clock in the morning for a few weeks.
Goodness.
Yeah, because like this isn't you guys' main gig either. Like you were saying, your full-time job outside of building, you know, world-winning cosplays. So like you were saying that it took a couple of months to go from the end of the last contest to through the planning stage and then starting the build in April, how do you guys make decisions as to like what the build is even going to be and what parts of the build you're going to emphasize, or like how does the planning all work out on that end?
Well,
Do you guys have a process, or just sort of throw science at the wall and see what sticks?
No, it's my process is very methodical and very like I plan out a lot. So it starts with I look very hard at my costumes from the previous year, like especially my very last build. And I look at it and I'm like, okay, this, like, I looked at Greymane coming home and I'm like, okay, it was good. Like I think about all the other cosplays that I saw, the winners that I saw, and I observed the level of detail that they went into. And so when I looked at Greymane, I'm like, okay, I achieved that level of detail on the face and maybe the hands, but the rest of the costume needed some work, like as far as the level of detail and the quality standard that I wanted to go for. So it starts with like a retrospective look at my work that I had done the previous year, like what I can improve, like what I learned about the materials, what I learned about the wearability, and like the comfort level.
From now on, the vision.
From now on, I'll consider the vision more.
We swore after BlizzCon that would be like a priority from now on.
And with Hogger, he has the gnolls have a very unique body shape. And with me doing these creature builds, like trying to figure out how to fit a human in there is one of the harder things. So it starts out with many sketches of me just drawing a human figure, like drawing over pictures of myself, being like, would this work? Like how can I fit it in proportionally and get it to look like I want?
We'll be sitting on the couch some nights and she'll stand up and she'll be like, take a picture of me in this pose. And so I'll like take a picture of her, and then she'll get on her tablet and start drawing over like the shape of a gnoll, and then like this is like how it would fit in. This is where I'd be standing, and then like refine that even more.
Right, and I also start to observe costumes that I'd like to emulate. Like I look at a lot of movie monsters. The Stan Winston School online is a great resource, and I go there and. At this point, I'm like studying new materials because like with Hogger, I drew inspiration from like Big Bird. If you know how Big Bird works, he's a puppet up like this. And also studying the Skeksis from Dark Crystal. They're also a puppet that's out like this, and the performer is hidden in the robes. So like. Just gathering inspiration, absorbing how other people do it. With this one of the big challenges that I wanted to tackle was the legs. I wanted the legs to look and move like an animal, and the padding, the approach and the padding that I've taken on other costumes, and especially Greymane, it just doesn't cut it. It may look okay while you're just standing there posing for a picture, but once you move, it breaks the illusion because it's like, oh, that's not moving like a real animal leg. So with the legs on Hogger, I drew a lot of inspiration from the Walking with Dinosaurs puppets, like and any of those raptor puppets where the actor's legs are exposed, but the monster's leg is moving like it should. So it's just a lot of like really trying to puzzle through problems like on pen and paper, and researching and learning about new materials is all that stage.
Yeah, you got the sculpts. Show the sculpts off.
Okay, well, the next stage that I go to in research after the pen and paper is I like to do maquettes, which a maquette is just a little sculpture. So I have this little humanoid figure that I sculpted and cast. Like it gets dark if we go forward. But yeah, he's just there standing in a pose, And
And you
then
still
I just
didn't
take.
cast that, but that's based on you, right?
This one actually isn't. I have 3D printed figures that I've sculpted of myself. This one I just grabbed this because I had it on hand. But I sculpted on top of it. Let me see. I don't know how to see it, but just sculpted on top of it to try to figure out where the mass needs to be. Like if I can get the proportion looking like I wanted. Like I at one point I like to work in miniature because it saves time. It goes fast. If like I sculpt his head too long, like his neck too long and his head's too far out, in like 2 minutes I can like chop out a section of his neck and move it back. And I'm like, okay, now solve that problem. Or the arm is too big or short or small. The feet are too big or short or small, and things like that. So this is my next step in concepting, is actually building like a little maquette to help me. It just helps me visualize what I'm going for more than anything. Like I don't use this in patterning. This is just more of a visualization exercise.
You know what it reminds me of? Car makers. When they're designing a car, one of the things they do is make it out of clay, and eventually they make it out of a large size, life size out of clay.
Right.
But that's what it reminds me of. Like you've got some detail there, and that's what it looks like, even with the armor.
Yeah, I even got his little pauldron on. So just basically just figuring out things in a small scale in my mind before I go to the full scale where it's expensive to make mistakes. Expensive on your time and
time consuming. Yeah.
So then I actually took an extra step on Hogger in the next stage of planning, where I actually built a full cardboard prototype of the costume.
Oh, nice.
Like the point of that was to just see if things would move how I wanted them to. I wanted to do the full scale because I was like, oh, this is a really big build. I don't want to make any mistakes. So, and cardboard is really cheap. It was really fast. I built it, the whole prototype, in like a day. This is a remnant of it. It's like just his head. So you can see I made Hogger's head a bit bigger after this one might be a little small. But this was like my thing. You can see I just like carved, cut out a shape there, and then like glued it together with little pieces of cardboard.
But you can puppet it.
But you can puppet it. So like I can like still get a little bit of the personality in here. Yeah.
Oh,
like
totally,
I didn't bother making the jaw mechanism on this because I don't know. It was just basically to see the proportions and how the neck moved. Like I built the neck structure.
And you had like shopping bags, like plastic sacks.
Oh yeah, like I bundled a whole bunch of those together to kind of like fake some mass for the muscles, so it wasn't just all flat pieces. So yeah, I call it like I learned this from the Stan Winston School and from the studio that made Aliens. Like they actually built a garbage bag test of the Queen alien, like full scale, just out of garbage bags and scrap materials to see how it would look and move on camera before they went into building the actual creature. So that's where I got the idea from. And it worked really well. Like I learned a lot of things and from that test, like pitfalls to look out for. Like, especially on the legs, I discovered that I really had to be really careful with the pivot points. Like, I decided to change some of the pivot points from the cardboard test in the final. And, like, I decided
what angle the legs would attach to the hip.
What angle the legs needed to attach, how the feet should sit in relation to my own feet, those kind of things. And I was able to do it at a budget and with a speed that I wouldn't if I tried to just like go into the full thing right away.
Rapid prototyping.
Rapid prototyping.
Yeah, so you guys are experts at this point. Then, what costume wins next year? Have you told the world?
I guess this is the time. Like, people have been asking me this question over and over and over and over again, and I don't want to disappoint anybody. So I think that next year I won't compete.
Won't compete.
Won't compete.
Okay.
All right.
That doesn't mean I won't build a cosplay. So the costume contest, it's so much fun, but it takes up so much time. Like all of Friday, basically, is dedicated to the costume contest. And I feel like I've been there and conquered that. Like I've achieved that, and it's been one of my biggest goals for 5 years, and I did it. And so I want to give that opportunity to someone else. Like I don't need any more prizes from BlizzCon to tell me I'm awesome. So I just want to go to BlizzCon, make some awesome creature, and just be around and be available for pictures and to meet people instead of having to be like stuck backstage and stuck in judging.
We can show it off on our time.
Yeah, I want to be able to attend the CTR party and not just like at the end of the night when I'm dead.
Okay, can we talk about that?
Yeah.
You came to the CTR party.
Yeah.
And basically everyone's like, first of all,
Blew the roof off the joint.
Yeah. You went through the Hilton lobby, which has got thousands of people in it. Like legit thousands of people in it.
The Hilton lobby was an experience in itself.
I'll tell you, like, still going on stage when they announced the winner. We got to tell that story real quick. Like,
okay.
I was still like in my own head, like so embarrassed. Like I'm like, I don't even care. I want to go home and curl up and die.
So when they take you off stage, like if you're gonna place or win some kind of prize, there's like a corral that they like kind of put you in. They're like, go here and stand here.
They're like, don't leave, just stand here.
Yeah.
And so like I was looking around, like kind of talking to people who were back there, but I was just like in my own head. I was feeling bad for myself.
And the whole time she's still like, there's no way, like, she's like, I can't believe I'd even get an honorable mention at this point and all this. And then she's like, I'm so embarrassed. And I'm like, it's fine. All of us cosplayers, everything, we're all like, it's okay, don't worry about it.
But like I was in the last group to go on stage, so it was like pretty quick that I had to get like put Hugger's head and neck back on to go back out on stage to line us up.
Yeah.
And so we put it back on, and I'm back to like not seeing anything, and
it's even darker backstage, and so like she can't see anything at all at that
right.
point.
And the whole time I'm asking Frosty, I'm like, what's going on? Who's winning? Like I just want to know like who's won, like that kind of thing.
Because we're getting up the ramp to like the stage, and like she can hear the cheering, and so she's like, what's happening? Did somebody we know won? Like one of our friends win? What's going on? You know? And I'm just like, just don't worry about it. It's, you know, we're fine.
Sneaky Frosty, he could tell by the way they lined us up, like who had won. So he knew that I had won backstage. And I was asking him what's going on, like who's where, and he wouldn't tell me.
I'm sitting there talking to like the staff and the judges that's shown up and stuff, and they're all like talking, and we're all like, yeah, she doesn't know, she has no idea.
And
it was like seconds before we go on stage still, and so I'm just like keeping it completely out of, you know, keeping her in the dark all the way.
And it wasn't until like we were on deck to go on stage, and I hear like Chris Hardwick say, like, first place goes to Laura Mercedes Hogger. And I'm like, what? Like, it was a crazy moment. Like, most of me was like, there's no way. There's no way. There's a mistake. How did this happen? And, like, I was so glad that, like, Frosty was able to go out on stage with me. I was like, this is, like, so perfect. And a lot of me was like, oh, man, I wish that I was well enough to experience this, that I heard the cheers, and I was still kind of in denial.
I've never heard the crowd cheer so loud from on stage, though, as when like the curtain opened. Like they're the production crew people to open the curtain are on the radio, and like you can hear them counting down to open it up, and like they're like, okay, the curtain's gonna open, head straight for Chris Hardwick, and so I'm like, okay, and they like open it up, and like right when the curtain opens, like they're like, congrats, and then all of a sudden it's just like this roar from the crowd. happens and you're like,
It
wow.
was so loud, and it was a really cool experience, but really like it didn't start like sinking in on me until we like went into the Hilton lobby. I was too tired. I didn't even have Hogger's head on. I was just walking. I'm like, I promised Sal I would go to the CTR party. Let's go. Let's get out of
She's
here.
like, if we won, we promised we'd go for sure. So we have to
I'm
go.
like, I have to go. I won. Like, they want to see this, and my guild wants to see this. And so I was like, we have to go. But as soon as we walked into the Hilton lobby, like everyone turns and just starts cheering.
Aww.
And it's like, you know how loud the Hilton lobby gets. It was loud again, and people were cheering and chanting Hogger.
They're like, Hogger, Hogger. Like, you can't even hear like the DJ somehow anymore, which is like,
That's
awesome.
amazing.
That's
and
the trick.
people were coming up to me and congratulating me and getting pictures with me, and they were getting selfies with Hogger's head, and like people were giving me high fives, like everyone like that we passed. It was just like fanfare the whole entire way up to the escalator.
It was like a Super Bowl like parade. You win the Super Bowl, so you're walking through like the crowd. It was crazy.
So that's why I was like crying by the time I got to the CTR Party.
You were so
That's
tired.
where it like really sank in the magnitude of what had happened.
You were so tired and you were so sick and you had just gone through like all this stuff, and really for you to like leave there and not go back to the Marriott and go back to where you're sleeping, right? You came and gave so many people joy by walking through the Hilton. That's really giving of yourself, and then thank you so much for coming to the party. I felt terrible. I was horrified when I saw you because I knew you had won. And I was really I'm like, oh, Kaz here, awesome. And then I saw your face. You were crying, and I knew you had been sick. And I hadn't really talked to you before then because you'd been, I don't know. And
I hadn't seen you yet.
Yeah, that was the first time I'd seen you.
We pretty much went to like opening ceremonies, and then we're in cosplay all day. So
right.
Till then.
And everyone was just talking about how sick you were, and you were crying and you were red faced and you were obviously super tired, and you were on stage and everyone is like, yay! And then you got Scott Johnson is at the stage going, put the head on, and I'm like, I thought that you were crying out of pain. And I was horrified that I had talked you into coming, that I had anything to do, that I played any part of this torture that we were putting you through. I was just, oh my God. And then Scott Johnson was going, put the head on, I'm like, stop telling her to do that.
Scott, don't you realize she just won BlizzCon? It's the worst day of the year for her.
And then you put it on, and the crowd, and everyone took photos, and I'm at the side going, oh my God, this has got to stop. This has to stop this. And then I'm like, where's Frosty? Because you're just standing there and I'm like, you got to get this thing off her head. And then you're like smiling and laughing in front of the stage. I'm like, Frosty, don't you see what she's going through?
She's dying in there.
That is how I felt. I felt so bad.
Don't feel bad. Like, I know, like, I was still, like, no voice, just squeaking out whatever words I had, but it was an incredible experience, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Like, to be able to celebrate with your I know there was like everyone there, but like to know like a lot of people from our guild were there, like made it even cooler,
Yeah.
Well, you came on, Frosty, you came on stage. You're like, no, she's overwhelmed. She's fine.
Like it's like the beauty queen kind of moment, like you start crying.
Just like gross sobbing.
Yeah.
And then we had dinner the next night, and then you gave me a cold, and I appreciate it.
I'm sorry.
No, it could.
I gave a little piece of me to you.
A piece of Hogger is right
We were
here.
just sharing everything we could.
So thank you for coming to the party and risking life and limb to go up the escalator in the Hilton lobby to do that. Gosh. We're like so totally off the rails with this interview. So Winchester in chat has been asking some really good questions. I don't know if you've noticed, you got the chat up, but there's one that he says, so I gotta ask, have you guys ever woke up with Hogger's head in the room and scared yourself?
There was a time when I was when I was working on Hogger, okay, and he didn't even have fur on his face, so he was like, I had his eyes in, and they were just like really wide eyeballs, and I had his head, like, finally put him all up on the body mannequin that I had, and I had him sitting there, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is looking cool. So I went around and was doing stuff, and I was like doing something on the ground in front of him, and I got like kind of this like chill, and because our house is like gigantic, and so I'm like the only one in like this like wing of the house clear over there.
The workshop is like on the opposite corner of the house from like the rest of everything. So.
Yeah, and so I was alone in the workroom. The wind was kind of howling, but I like looked up over my shoulder, and like Hogger's head was right there, and his eyes were focused right exactly on me. And I jumped. I got a little scared because it was like such an intense gaze. But after that moment, I'm like, yeah, I nailed the eyes. Great.
You nailed. You know, you're talking about like the intensity. While you were on stage, and you probably do this to everybody. But you remember the trick that you played on me? Yeah.
Well, like, okay, so legitimately, I want people to like experience touching Hogger's tongue because it's got a really cool texture on it. But
squishy,
well, I can't help myself when people stick their hands in Hogger's mouth to like snap down on them.
I think I jumped 3 feet in the air when you did that.
Your reaction was priceless. So yeah, Sal, she stuck her fingers in, and I bit down, and
I think she jumped off the stage. Honestly, she kind of just was like, nope, I'm gone. See you later.
It's harmless. The teeth are foam, and they're really soft.
Yeah,
light,
totally.
So it's like doesn't hurt, but I mean, it was hilarious.
Well, that brings us to Winchester's other question: how many hands did you bite while wearing that?
Ooh, a lot.
I don't know. I bet all the judges' hands.
Yeah, all the judges did it. I don't know, probably like 100 or more people. Because that was the thing we told everybody. Like we'd be like, touch the tongue, touch the tongue. So it's just like anytime, like as long as we weren't being like swarmed by people, if anybody was close in, that was what we'd say. Touch the tongue.
Yeah. Taryn Gregory too. Like,
yeah, Taryn did it. So.
Awesome.
Did you make him jump?
No, he didn't react at all, and I was like, oh.
Well, he's the one. We were getting ready for the CTR party, and he came. He was one of the first people there, and someone's like, "Hey, Kaz just won. Kaz won. Hogger won." And he goes, "What? If you saw Hogger, you knew it already won. You knew Hogger
won." Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fun experience. And it was like we only got a little bit of time to go outside of the hall, like outside of the entire con to like take pictures. But it was just like we had to apologize to everyone trying to get around to like the store or anything, because the entire sidewalk to Hall E was just like stopped most of the time when we were out there.
There's people surrounding me.
So people are trying to go like around the gates, and security's yelling at them because of us, because they had to go around everyone standing there. So it's like.
But it
can't really help
fun.
it, you know.
It's fun being in cosplay out and about, because you just get surrounded by people, and it's like, Hogger over here, Hogger over here, and I'd be like turning to pose, like guessing where the camera is. And
I'm on the radio, and I'm like, okay, there's a lot of photographers to your left. They turn 45 degrees to the right, you know, like as like they kind of would shift, or like people would leave and come. I'm like, at least giving her like a general direction to face, so that you get a shot.
Turn his nose up or down, or there's a person getting a selfie, like bite them. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd be like, somebody's going to get a selfie with you, so
What teamwork! That's awesome.
It's adorable. I love it.
This is like a 2-person costume. It's like having the head and the butt.
I actually had 2 helpers. I had Frosty and then our friend Mike.
Yeah, good old casual Mike was there. So Team Hogger, you know, we pulled it all out. So.
Yeah.
Well, with 3 people, you could do that 3-part dragon costume that they put out. Who gets to be the butt?
Probably me.
I don't know. Like, it's usually the shortest person in the butt, so I would draw that short
that'd be
stick.
you then. Like we do, like, we've always had this like crazy idea. We've said it before on other shows of like a 2-person Ultralisk.
Yeah, I love StarCraft. I love the Zerg. I want to build a 2-person Ultralisk that's just massive.
Like so big, we probably would have to stay outside of the con because we couldn't fit in the doors. Kind of big, so.
Hey, I mean, they did it with Reinhardt. Ooh, that sounds awesome. Go ahead.
Winchester in chat did have another question. He wanted to know, let's say Blizzard approaches you guys, and they're like, listen, we've got this archive. We'd really like the Hogger suit. Do you let them buy it from you? And how much do they spend on it?
Oh, geez.
We have talked about this, though, about if they wanted to put it in the library.
I love Hogger, though. He's so cute. Look at this puppy
Look
face.
at the way you pet it. You've been like scratching his ears this whole time.
Giving him
It's
scratches.
so
You can pet his head.
Like I don't know if you guys you might have been afraid to touch him while he was at the party, but like he's so cute and fluffy. He's just like he reminds me a lot of my puppy. Like oh, he's so adorable. But I think it would be awesome. Like eventually, like I'd be like, maybe can you wait a few years, Blizzard, and
At least give me some time to wear him somewhere else.
like I want to take him to a few other conventions, you know, yeah, it would be pretty darn awesome to have him displayed at Blizzard HQ.
But how much, right? Like,
How much?
If we could never get him back, I mean, he's like almost priceless.
Like, what does 500 hours cost to you? You know?
Yeah. Well, I'm guessing with like the materials, the hours, he'd be like well over $10,000.
Yeah.
So even if you just did like $20 an hour, we'll say that's $10,000 in just hours right there.
Yeah.
Like that's, yeah, goodness.
They can take the Goran. Like he just
no.
he just
I
sits
love
there.
the Goran.
the poor Goran, he's just laying on the floor. Gotta make him a mannequin.
Some people liked when I tweeted like our picture of like our cosplay closet, but he's so big he doesn't fit. Like he's the size of a closet, so he just sits on the floor in the workroom basically because like we don't have anywhere to stick him. So there's just like a plastic sheet on the floor, and he just lays there. He's like,
Yeah.
I totally forgot about the Goran.
That one was a big learning experience in a lot of materials because he's starting to fall apart. And so it's like, I know how to make him more durable after him, but he's just kind of falling apart.
He suffered a lot of
Aw.
battle damage just from BlizzCon. So
Unfortunately, yeah. It happens, like costumes wear out. That one is a little bit unrecoverable.
That was so timely, though. It was like perfect. Like, oh yeah, Goran, that's perfect. You know, at the time, that just made so much sense. But Hogger,
He's
That-
a classic.
yeah.
we should turn the question around just out of curiosity. Like, what kind of cosplay would you guys want to see? Like, if you could just like pick any character from any Blizzard universe, like
Just you're the puppeteer, I'm the puppet.
Yeah.
What would you have me build?
here's your
Someone,
RTS. You stuck Kaz in her workshop. Like now, have her build.
okay, Yamo in chat says Alex Straza in dragon form.
Yes.
That would be
I'd love to do that.
Pretty amazing.
That
There's your 2-person suit right there.
would.
Yeah, one of the dragon aspects. Oh, Pasha is here too. Oh, her cosplay was on point, I thought.
Yeah, it was.
Jill Jaden, yeah, it was pretty good. I'd say it was pretty good.
It was pretty awesome.
Pretty good.
Xavius.
Like, wait a minute, like I just captured Malfurion and I'm a ghost Xavius, or like big, like blubbery, I've got a bolt in my tongue Xavius. Like, who are we talking about here?
Ooh.
Like 13-foot nails in his feet Xavius? Is that who we're talking about? You ever look at his feet? He's got nails in his feet.
Yeah.
Satyr do hold like a special place in my heart. I remember clear back when I was young in the Warcraft 3 manuals that came with Warcraft 3, there was some awesome Chris Metzen art in there of a satyr, and I loved that piece of art. And I drew so many satyrs when I was younger.
In chat, we're talking about a newer, taller Arakoa, but you did an Arakoa once.
I want to redo my Arakoa, like make another one to bring it up to my current skill level.
We have discussed doing Turok before.
Turok
With all
would be
this
cool.
like cool regalia and everything. So.
Yeah.
So we're all talking about WoW here, though. Oh, Barf, you got something?
No, I'm racking my brains. I don't know.
Well, I love Warcraft, as you can tell. Like all my cosplays have been from Warcraft so far.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, good.
Oh, Silverbolt.
Silverbolt
really
says
big.
Anzu.
Boat as my shoulder pauldron.
Yep.
Like a little
What does Silverbolt say?
Silverbolt is saying Anzu.
Anzu. Yeah.
Remind me who Anzu is.
I've been wanting Anzu for a while.
Remind me who
mount,
Anzu is?
the mount from Sethek Halls
the
in
Raven.
Arkandun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A mount. I mean,
Yeah.
you could do like a super hard to get mount, like the time lost proto Drake.
Oh yeah, that would be fun. I love
Oh,
Drake.
With the big old wings walking with them.
You could do Invincible or Mimran's head and then just not show up.
Perfect. The ultimate troll.
Well, somebody did like the airship. You saw like the Goblin airship this year.
Yeah.
They had like a mobility scooter, and so we were like, sitting there like thinking like, what could you do? You could do Mimran's head with one of those.
That would
Or
be
Really could.
like the scooter. Now you're starting to get into like Kel'Thuzad territory. Float across the stage.
Aethrix
Yeah.
says the transmog yak. There's a lot of detail in that.
Oh yeah.
That would be awesome.
Big.
Little puppets for the Thanes.
Oh yeah.
You could build animatronics for those, like remote
There you
control.
go.
But they have to like insult you.
Oh, obviously.
You have to pay them gold first. So like you deposit gold, and then they'll give you an insult. How about
You would
that?
almost need a two-person for that. Silverbolt just said you would almost need two people for that one.
I think you need 3. But I really like the ones that are interactive. There was one I'll never ever forget it. And I'm not going to say that it was like it wasn't the best cosplay in the world, but it was something that was an experience for me. Was maybe 2016 BlizzCon, was someone did the jump in the vat and step on the fruit, Yeah, so she had a little vat with her. So the idea was you jumped up and down on it, and she like gave you a piece of paper that gave you like artifact power.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Except it was negative artifact power. I'm like, what do you mean negative artifact power? And then she moved her braid, and it said trainee on it. And I'm like, oh, I'll never forget this for as long as I'm jumping on the fruit,
That's awesome. Somebody was a Pokemari machine this year too. We saw
I
them.
saw that. That
That
was
great.
fun.
Interactive cosplays are very awesome. Though we've seen a few at different conventions, even like that are like really cool.
Oh yeah, I like the ones like I love Hogger because he had like a personality. Like he could,
Yeah.
I could like react, and I had the freedom to move, and like there was a lot of people that when they'd come up to get a picture with me, they'd be like, oh, I'm scared. So like as soon as the picture snapped and they were moving away, I would like turn Hogger and try to attack them and like chase them away. And they'd go running, and it was fun.
Yeah, we think that's part of what made him like even more special. Is like people like know Hogger so much better.
Yeah.
Like we've done like a Goran or an Arakoa, but like they're so generic. Like they're not really like a specific person. But we did Gen, but it doesn't like Hogger transcends games even at this point because he's in Hearthstone and everything, and he's been in WoW for like ever now. So
From the start, from day one.
so everyone knows like like what Hogger is and who he is. Like even when we did Greymane, like he really only arrived on the scene like in the last few years. When you think about it, so
It was kind of like hitting the perfect like punch in the nostalgia for a lot of people.
You really struck that balance. I mean, obviously the detail and the work and it's beautiful, but the nostalgia, like the zing that you get from seeing Hogger scratch his butt with his axe. It's like, oh God, man, when I was level 10, God.
I so wanted to like scratch his butt on stage, but like I said, I was kind of panicking, so I forgot that step. But I wanted.
Oh, you didn't do that on stage.
I wanted to walk out on stage and like just kind of like, you know, just look around and like turn around, and, like scratch his butt. And I had a plan, but plans.
It totally worked out. What happened though? What was another one? One that really struck me with this nostalgia was the guy with a fishing pole.
Oh
Matt
yeah.
Pagel.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we're
was
friends
funny.
with him.
Oh yeah.
Guy, yeah.
I was sitting out there with his partner at the fountain Friday morning of BlizzCon because I wasn't going in for the opening ceremonies, and he was just out there just chilling out at the fountain, you know, like fishing. I'm
away.
like, how many hours have I spent fishing in a damn fountain?
Oh my
You know,
God.
getting coins, and it was just like, yeah, I mean, the fishing rod was awesome. It was good, but that wasn't the point. The point was just like the zing that it like stabbed me right in the heart. Like, oh, yeah,
Yep.
man, you got some quests for me or something? You know?
Yeah, those cosplays that like, or the ones that have like they kind of play on like an inside joke from a game or
Yeah.
something like that. Like those, they don't have to be like the best cosplay ever. Like because you get it, and that makes up for any like imperfections any cosplay might have.
I think like the first year that we cosplayed, 2013, somebody was cosplaying as a mage table.
Yeah.
And like actually getting out and little buns. So it's like.
I think for me, the only thing that would hit me harder than Hogger would be Fell Reaver, because I came in when you still died from that thing.
Oh,
Like especially if you had a big speaker with that sound.
Oh my God. If I saw a Fell Reaver, I'd be angry. I'd be like, you little bad words.
Why has no one done
Very.
a Fell Reaver yet? I don't remember.
I actually looked that up. I was like, Fell Reaver cosplay, there's no pictures. But yeah, Hogger,
Opportunity.
Cosplayers out there.
Fell Reaver.
And
I mean,
like
you
armor
would
isn't
scare
my
somebody.
specialty. Like this armor and these foam props that I did for Hogger were like my first ones.
oh,
Amazing.
Well, if you had a Fell Reaver cosplay like on like Friday morning when you're trying to get into the con, there's a big line. You just come up behind everybody and like play that sound.
Make
And
that
just, like,
sound.
scatter
on.
people.
you just walk right in.
Oh, so good. That would be the only one I think that would be angrier than, oh, freaking Fell Reaver.
Nice.
This is the best conversation I've had, like ever. Okay, the chat room is awesome. Everyone is like, oh, Nat Pagel, oh, the legendary poll, everyone is really into this. But getting kind of towards the end, do y'all have any shout outs that you want to give out to your guildies?
Shout out to Casual Mike first for being like the other part of Team Hogger, providing crowd control. He like was basically like the one who like when my hands were full would keep everything that I couldn't control. Like he had like the bag of holding basically all day, and I'd be like, oh, do you have this like part? And like he carried the axe around most of the day too. Like this like the axe we have to basically like tie into Hogger's hand to make sure like it doesn't slip out or anything. And so he'd carry the axe around, and I'd be like, oh, okay, give me this piece. Or like he was like the water bearer at some points. And
He went and got me snacks. He went and like he and water all the time. He was so good. So shout out to Mike.
Hyrule Master.
Shout out to Hyrule Master, Hyrule Master 77 on Twitter. They like gave me this awesome little gift when they met me. Like, do you know in the Dark Moon Fair, the little like training dummies that's the Knoll, the little Hogger bauble? She made one of those, like a little figure this big in real life, and gave it to me with like the sweetest note ever. And it was the cutest little gift. I tweeted about it. It's so cute.
And then Justice did a coloring page in honor of Hogger, like on Friday. She released it early, so. And then another piece of art.
Zylvin
Zylvin
drew a nice little celebration. Hogger is #1 art. Also, just shout out to everybody who's like followed along on this journey. Anybody who like followed the hashtag wanted Hogger and like faved or retweeted anything. Just anybody who offered words of encouragement. Like there was a lot of personal challenges to get through for this build, and it really helped to see people getting so excited for Hogger, and to have like anybody who messaged me after telling me congratulations and how much it meant to them and how it made their BlizzCon special to see Hogger. Like that meant the world to me. Yeah,
whether it was like the Twitter community or Instagram or whatever, social media, or if it was like our raid team, like when we get on, or when she wouldn't be able to raid for like the last like couple months of building Hogger, and they'd be like, "Where's Kaz? How's Hogger and everything?" She finally got to raid yesterday.
It was great.
So, like the first time, they're like, "Oh, you're back." But yeah, like everyone made it just fantastic, and even just everyone who like old or new friends that we got to see at the con, like coming to see us, just like winning BlizzCon aside, like that's just what makes the whole weekend just so great. Like it's just connecting with people or reconnecting with people, whatever it might be. So
that's awesome.
Well, thank you so much. I know that you've done a lot of interviews. I know that everyone's talking about the Worgen's Howl podcast, and I, on purpose, haven't listened to it yet. I'm going to listen to it tomorrow because I didn't want to copy them or something. But everyone is talking about the Worgen's Howl and how good it was. So everyone download that.
Yes.
What was it? Episode 156.
156. Yeah. 156.
And I know that a lot of people are asking for your time right now, and I sincerely appreciate you giving your time to us. That's so valuable. And, thank you, and your guildies, thank you, and just congratulations. I'm so happy for y'all.
Oh, thank you.
It's an honor. So, and we're glad that we got to have dinner with you at BlizzCon too. So it's like a lot of times like, we kind of get stuck in the same rut, and we do go to IHOP a lot at BlizzCon because usually when you're in the contest or anything like that, like you're at the con all day. So the only place that's really open and accessible and within walking distance is IHOP. So you just end up going to IHOP like all the time.
Well, guys, thank you so incredibly much for coming on the show. Like Sal said, it means a whole lot to us. It means a lot to the guild.
Yes.
Before we switch over to Ash for the raid report, where can the world find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at KazulGFox, or you can find like me by searching the hashtag #WantedHogger. You can find me Kazplay around various things. KazulGFox on Instagram, at the Worgen's Howl.
Yep, at Worgen Howl on Twitter. I'm just at Frostee Fox, and if you want to listen to any of our shows on our network, just frozenfoxmedia.com. Got lots of shows on there. So
say that again. Frozen Fox Media.
Yep, that's it.
Frozenfoxmedia.com.
That's where people can find the Worgen's Howl, even Realm Maintenance, Restart Cast, all that's there. So
fantastic. Thank you guys so very much again one more time, and until next time, right?
Yep. Until next time. Take care.
Thanks for coming. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Wow.
That was
We could keep going.
Good. It's good so far.
I'm going to Frozen Fox Media right now.
All right.
I'm going to make sure to put this in the show notes. I don't know. When was the last time I shed tears during an interview? I don't know.
I feel like it's been recently-ish, not recent. Maybe the 100th. That's not recent anymore, is it? That isn't recent.
That's not recent anymore.
It feels recent still. Well, while we bring Ash on, let me get you some guild event taps, guys. So
hang on.
I have.
It's time for tea.
Time for me. Okay. So we can't hear your sounders today. Usually I can hear them. Did you switch something?
Yeah, I did. Is it not coming through? Well, I'll play with it later.
No worries. Doesn't matter now. Anyway, I have stuff to talk about. I'm going to try and keep it brief because I know we're going over, and I wouldn't have it any other way having those two on. Check the guild calendar, guys. We have things like your Friday night fight nights going on. We're going to have some night hold events where you can do that balance of power quest line for that artifact appearances. Shenanigans is happening. Check the guild calendar, guild.converttoraid.com. Something that is going to be happening this week, and it'll be up on the calendar tomorrow morning. I want to say tonight. I spent all day buying a car, so I'm going to bed after this. So tomorrow morning it'll be on. We are doing a raid recruitment event Friday and Saturday. That is Friday the 17th and Saturday the 18th, starting at 6 p.m. server. If you are a raid team, check the team lead channel in Discord. I posted a link to a form that you can fill out. If you are looking for a raid team, come join us in Discord Friday, 6 p.m. server. Figure out what time zone that is from there, but 6 p.m. server Friday and 6 p.m. server Saturday. The CTR 5-year anniversary is just over 2 months away, 2 months and 7 days. The week-long celebration is going to start on January 13th, or January 14th, pardon me, January 14th, and go through January 21st. Some events, and you will see sign up for these on the calendar this week. We will have a gift exchange. So people sign up, you kind of tell me a little bit about yourself, and then I pair you guys off and get gifts for each other. Great way to get to know guildies. We will have the free raffle. Everyone gets to sign up for one and you get a prize. I can tell you we have vials of sands. We have 2 sets of the Panther jeweled mounts. That's not all one prize. It's going to be 5 separate prizes. But that's 10 Panther mounts going out there. All kinds of pets, sky golems. We also have things like whatever the fell bad. It's kind of like the left shark of this expansion, but not as bad. It's close, but not as bad. We have some other prizes in there as well. We will be doing LFRs. We'll be doing some Overwatch, all kinds of stuff. Check the calendar. Donations, if you have them, let me know. But yes, things for the anniversary are going to start popping up. Some things are not time sensitive, but you will have to sign up beforehand to participate in. Some things you won't. But that's going to start popping up really quick. So 2 months and 7 days is going to go fast. The important thing, though, is the raid recruitment event is happening this Friday and this Saturday. Last little update about the live stream. If you want a prize, physical prizes are going out this week. Virtual prizes, I have about half of them out. So check your email. If you do not have an email yet, don't worry. The other half will be going out by the end of this week. And thank you to everyone who came and hung out. I think that's it for events. I think I got it all in there. If I missed something, we'll talk about it in 2 weeks.
I showed up to one of Silverbolt's events last night because I didn't know this, but Silverbolt has been streaming her events. I had no idea. I had no idea that she was even on Twitch until I was watching Barf's stream, which is, one of my favorite things to do.
Oh, yo, nice.
And Barf brought us into Silverbolt. I'm like, oh, what? And it blew my mind. It introduced me to this whole new world. And then I ended up being there for 2 hours where they were camping ANX and playing trivia, like WoW trivia. And that was so much fun. Now, I didn't do any of that. I wasn't camping, and I was just trolling. I was totally trolling.
That's what Sal does. She trolls.
I ended up going to Discord and chatting with them. And it was really cool because some of them I hadn't really talked to before. And specifically this person Giggles. Hopefully she hears me say this. I had fun talking to her. So I really loved meeting new guildies and having fun. So thank you, Silverbolt, for doing that and always having these events. And thank you, Barf, for introducing me to Silverbolt's Twitch that I should have known about already. So there's that.
How's it going, guys?
Hi, Ash.
Awesome.
Hello.
Eshelon.
Man, I feel like I haven't seen you in a week, brother.
Man, it's been at least a week.
3 weeks.
I feel like we're all just getting back together for BlizzCon again. Come on, let's go. Let's party. Let's do it.
51 weeks left, man. That's all.
Speaking of BlizzCon, I see what's above your head.
Yeah, we got all the things.
Those were amazing.
So first of all, who's showing off their fancy computer with the lights?
Yeah. You forgot the 2 thumbs part. This guy.
Who's got 2 thumbs and is showing off his fancy computer with all the lights?
Yeah. It's better than the creepy picture with the eyeballs. So.
Oh, and you got the little plushies from the BlizzCon.
Yeah, I figure since I'm a tailor, I should have an Elec.
The Elec plushie. That thing is cool looking, man.
Yeah,
You got both of them.
The button eyes are the best.
It's somehow
Button
lower
eyes are
res
the
than
best.
the one in game.
I know.
That's impressive.
It's totally 8-bit for sure.
I love it.
Oh, the cosplay stuff. Wow, that was amazing. I feel like we should actually do the thing where we, I don't go after them because like this is terrible.
I mean, I get that though. Like that was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. But there's another thing that's above your head is the sword.
Yes, the sword. We
Talk about
get
the
the sword, the 8-bit sword. That's
Oh,
right.
I want one of those. They're so cool.
Yep, yep. So Lonnie had to have one, because of the
How'd you get it
shield.
home?
She did the shield thing.
Yeah.
So, and then I got one of these little guys from the goodie bag. This is you probably can't see him. This is
I got that
Isn't
same
that
one.
Soldier 76?
76.
So
The weird
those
mask on it.
swords, the green sword that you have that says "Convert to Raid" on the back. Oh, Barf has the same toy.
I got the same one.
That Convert to Raid sword was one of our stretch goals for the Kickstarter. So, and they're a hit. People liked them. They lit up. I made sure every kid that walked in got one. Every kid that I saw.
Aw.
That's probably
Well,
not true.
Is that why you gave me one
after
right
the
away?
kids played with them over the weekend, it doesn't light up anymore.
Is that why I
pretty
gave
sure,
you one right
but
away? Is that what you said? Now that I think about it, not every kid got one, but I tried to give every kid that walked in like some kind of something. Like if you're gonna win something, if you're a kid, like I'm just gonna give it to you.
Kids win
You don't have
prizes,
to
man.
feel- Kids win prizes.
Kids win prizes. That's how it is.
Mental note: take Miles, get stuff.
Right. That's any party. You're always gonna get stuff if there's a kid.
Take Miles to
those swords-
BlizzCon. Hang out with us next year.
Do you know that Kleptic brought his sword around and had people sign it?
I saw
Yeah.
that on the tweets.
smart.
I saw that on Twitter too. I was immediately like, I should have did that, man. I could have had such cool signatures on mine.
He had like a
Just
gold pen and everything. It was perfect.
But when my oldest daughter first saw it, she assumed that it was a new Minecraft sword because
That's what it
in
looks like.
Yes.
Minecraft there is no emerald sword. I found
There's
that out
not.
this weekend. Okay, but she saw
Yes.
it and she was like, "That's new because there is no emerald sword." So is there a new emerald sword in Minecraft? I'm like,
Because you
I don't
would
know.
you would know because you know all these video
course I
games and you're like the cool dad that knows video games
right, exactly.
and won't let her
I
play
have
with
no
all their
idea.
toys.
She's not allowed to play with other toys.
Even your plushies?
No, they played
Especially
with the
not-
plushies like
oh.
crazy. No, and they played with the sword. That's why it no longer lights up. Actually, I think the plane trip did that, but So we do have a raid report. It's on the short side because we are winding down the Tomb of Sargeras cycle. So, but I'll go ahead and get into it. We got 6 normal, 14 heroic, and 1 mythic progression kill. A new team on the list this week. We've got Baiting Hooks, who downed several normal bosses: Goroth, Harjatan, Inquisition, Mistress, Sisters, and Desolate Host. The Mistress Moose killed Goroth and Harjatan on heroic. HTX took out Sisters and Desolate Host on heroic. The Rady Brunch took out Fallen Avatar, now working on Kill Jaden, and we have several more ahead of the curves. Congratulations to Banana Republic, Resolve, Salad Senate, Hump Day Heroes, and Rolling Thunder. All those guys got their KJ kill in the last couple of weeks, maybe last 3 weeks, something like that. And congrats to Edamame Enterprise for taking out Desolate Host on Mythic. That makes like 3 teams or something, 4, I don't know. We have several that are up to Desolate Host.
Well, and we got, what, like 2 weeks left before they drop Antorus? Man,
Weeks.
that's
The
a...
next time we getting together in 2 weeks? After Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So if we're getting together the Monday after Thanksgiving, that's that Tuesday, the day after
Yes.
we get together, we are doing Antorus. So the next raid report will be the last raid report of the Tomb of Sargeras
That's
cycle.
right. Because November 27th is our next show. And we know this because our friend Ash asked, when does Antorus come out? And it comes out on November 28th.
I'm surprised we haven't actually talked about this yet. They were ready to answer that question to anyone who would ask it, and nobody at any of the Q&As, nobody on the floor, no one like walking up to get an autograph or seeing it. No one asked. No one
They were
asked.
so hyped. You give us an expansion, we forget about what the current one is.
True enough. You're thinking about other things. And where was Red Shirt Guy? Like, I was looking for Red Shirt Guy.
I'm not sure. Was he not there? I actually haven't seen every VOD
He's
yet
asked
from the
the
thing.
question at every Q&A.
Right? Yeah. No.
Guys always ask the question, and
He's like a big tradition there. I haven't actually had a chance to sit down and watch all the VODs from BlizzCon from this year. I watched some of the ones that I was like really desperate to see, but I haven't quite seen actually most of them yet. But I just assumed he was there. I didn't realize he wasn't there. Was he not in attendance at all, or?
I don't know. I don't know.
These are the informative, hard-hitting net facts that we bring you on this podcast, where we know things.
According to the chat, he was there. He sent in a question, but they turned him down. They didn't select his question this year, I guess. So
Do
he
they not know
posted the
who he
question
is?
on his Twitter.
I mean, seriously, he's a, it doesn't matter what his question is. His question should get answered. Doesn't matter. You could
I
ask
wonder what his question
what color,
was.
You could
Question
ask
was
what
a
color is Alex
tradition.
Straza. They should
Why
answer
did they
that.
turn it down?
Red.
His question.
Good job, Barf.
She's red,
Done.
just like his shirt.
10 points to Barf.
I did it.
All right.
Lore master.
Well, chat room, give me your shout-outs. We have quite a few from Twitter. I think Ash and Sal are going to tackle these, but while they're doing these, I will read. I will wait for your chat room shout-outs while they read. That's what I'm doing. I'm waiting. You're reading. Get me shout-outs.
Sal, who's starting?
You are.
Frasley Sparkspan, the awesome gnome, tinkered his shout-out-a-tron into overdrive. First thanking Part Shark and Kalani for helping get a budget mapped out for his future PC build. Frasley also wants to shout out all the people at CTR who helped BlizzCon goers understand the power of family from a guild filled with internet strangers. Also, to the Worgen's How podcast, listening to them encouraged him to join CTR in June. And Frasley's final shout-out, a Tron shout-out. Congratulations to Kazul Cosplay for winning the BlizzCon cosplay contest. Thank you for sharing your story of the process and inspiring the rest of us to never let life's reality stop creativity.
I think we should be done now. That was great.
Wow.
Who tops that?
Frasley.
That was phenomenal.
Okay, if there's anyone who could maybe match Silverbolt, with like the energy
Enthusiasm
and the
and energy.
positivity,
Mhm.
enthusiasm, it might be Frasley. Like the two of them, like just all. I can't.
Well, it's a good thing they don't know each other and never talk to each other, because if they did, a tornado would occur.
They just can't be in the same room.
Tornado of positivity.
Ash, you keep going.
Dr. Pope says, thanks to Sal and Barf for the amazing time at BlizzCon and allowing him his old man on the front porch opportunity.
He is not an old man, nor does he even have a porch.
He had an old man opportunity, apparently. I don't know what that's about. That's between you guys. I don't know. Sure, he's yelling at some kids on his, you kids get off my lawn. Something like that.
You know what? He is not as old as he likes to pretend he is. So, Graves CTR sends a shout out to the entire CTR Party crew, especially Turarts and the Game Case for an awesome at-home BlizzCon experience. Hey, that went pretty well, didn't Turarts? How'd that go?
After the first hour, it went. It was actually a lot of fun. Once things got rolling, it was great. Like I said in the beginning of the show, we had Coltrane, we had Celestalon, Automatic Jack, Lore, I can't forget Lore. And then, of course, all the guildies, scene this, scene Thorin, scene Captain Cod was on there. All these amazing people. Esh was on there. Lonnie was on there. I'm going through everyone in my head. Again, I was busy doing prizes, so not that not every interview is important, but it's really hard for me to remember everyone because I'm sitting here like, don't forget to sign up for a prize. Okay, /roll, gotta delete all this. It's a process on my end, but yeah, Ash and Lonnie were amazing. Barf was on there for sure. Yeah, it was great. Chat was on point. Having in Discord the ability to talk, we learned some things about Discord. We learned a lot of things this year actually on the live stream side. But yeah, it was a great time. So again, thank you to everyone I know everyone knows how important BlizzCon is, but I think that the live stream is very underestimated, and I'm so glad CTR gets to do this and will continue to do this because it is an important part of what makes us this amazing over-the-top community.
I know we have guildies that watch it, or I say guildies as in teammates, like on the Facebook team. We've got Facebook guys that watch the stream just to see, who all's there, and make fun of me and Lonnie a little bit. So I know that that all the teams have that sort of thing going on where they've got, some people are at BlizzCon and the folks that are not, they're watching on the live stream. I know they appreciate it.
Funny, I'll tell a really funny quick story. I know we're going long, but I don't care. Anyway,
it's the post BlizzCon episode. These things happen.
Last year we had to get kind of some approval to get Celestalon on because he's a dev and certain things have to be met. This year, Celestalon came on. He was one of the first interviews. We had some audio, so it's fine. But then Laura comes up to Cuddles and just like, can I just go on? And he's just like, is this allowed? Like, he's like, yeah. And then him and Jack just kind of sit down and start going. And he's like, I was sitting here like, all right, let's do this then, I guess. So I think that speaks a lot to the party that we are at such a level that they know they can sit down, and Cuddles is great at this. We're not going to sit here and be like, tell me about your job and what are some, like, what can you tell me that you haven't. We're very much, what have you enjoyed? Like, tell us about, we treat you like you're one of us. And so I think that speaks volumes for the reputation that we have at this party and at BlizzCon, that developers are literally like, just let me sit and just do this thing real quick.
Well, wrangling them in was Silverbolt, right?
Silver, yeah.
She was, I saw it, man. She was wearing a Murloc suit and a purple t-shirt, and she was running around that room grabbing people for the stream, and it was something to see, man, for real.
So yeah,
I probably ran away from her 10 times before she finally got me in front of the camera. So she was great. She was doing really good. Getting everybody on there.
Awesome.
What was that? What was the t-shirt Celestalon was wearing? Was he wearing a...
He was wearing our t-shirt. The guild. He had the guild. I realize I am just really touching my boobs there. Yeah, that t-shirt that's on the guild website.
The rating t-shirt or the 5-year t-shirt?
The rating t-shirt. Thank you.
It had the team names. The one with the team names, right?
Yes, that one. Sorry. Let's go with shout-outs. Where are we at? We shout out the live stream. I think we should.
All right, Lonnie shouts out Boats and Hose and crew for joining forces with Faithful to tackle Antorus. Those guys have been raiding with us for a few weeks now, so it's awesome having those guys around.
Winchester says, congratulations to Kaz and Frosty for their win at the cosplay contest at BlizzCon and her incredible Hogger outfits.
All right, Khadgar's Hammer shouts out Curdran, Daneth, Khadgar, Ilaria, and Turalian. It was on Twitter. That's true.
Okay, now, first of all, I want to pause. Eshelon, I think we have some more tweets that came in the past hour. If you want to check that out. Thank you. From the entire team. Oh, this came in from the CTR Party. From the Twitter, the CTR Party Twitter. It's from the entire team behind the CTR Party. Thank you for making this our best event yet. And it really was. It really was. Coming together as a community is one of our favorite times of the year, and you were all so amazing. We're so excited to start plans for 2018. Oh, are you okay?
Jules, Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! There's gonna be a CTR party.
Jules is already talking about 2018, and I'm just like, my feet still hurt. Like that's.
We've learned this.
The blisters haven't healed yet. Hang on.
I am ready. I have list somewhere. It's in this mess.
Oh my god, that's true.
Are you gonna be there next year, T? You gonna?
I just had to buy a second car this year today. Fingers crossed. We'll see.
I heard we were.
I heard BlizzCon.
Well, I heard we were moving the party into the main hall over in Anaheim, so we got a much bigger party to throw. I'm just saying.
Right.
Not true. And it was poorly timed.
Not true.
Sprout says, shout out to everyone that made my first BlizzCon amazing. That's awesome. First BlizzCons are.
It was really cool to see Sprout. Sprout was on the show like 5 weeks ago. And then he was here. Sorry, not here, but he was in California, and like everyone's like, Sprout, and that was really cool because he's going there and he doesn't, he is his first BlizzCon, and but there is bam, you got friends, you got people to hang out with. Barf, that was one of the things about you, because you were all worried like, where am I going to find people? You're on Twitter going like, how do I find people to hang out with?
Yep.
Now, like how did you find people to hang out with? Was that a problem for you?
Walked into the bar and immediately glommed onto the large contingent of CTR people that were there, and then after that it was a lot of, oh yeah, hey, we're all going, okay, let's all go. And then it was just, I always, whenever you travel by yourself and you're going to see people there but they're like not the people who you went with, I'm always a little nervous that I'm going to feel like I'm imposing on their social thing that they're doing, and like I'm inviting myself to go with other people, and they're like, we didn't plan to have this, bespectacled nerd here. What's going on? But, I mean, I didn't feel that way at all. Everybody was super welcoming and inviting. It was positive for 5.5 days or however long I was there. Just straight positivity the whole way.
Yeah, it's, for me, I go and I want to see the panels. I want to see all the BlizzCon stuff, but any interaction with friends and guildies and any opportunity to nerd out with other people kind of overrides all that. Like, you'll be late to a panel, it don't matter. You'll be, it doesn't matter who delays you or slows you down, or if you that interaction and camaraderie you feel when you're with people that you just jive with like that, it just doesn't matter. All that overrides everything else. So pretty awesome.
Vash T wants to shout out to CTR Guild, but especially to Totemly Drunk, Ash, Jake Daniels, the Shenanigans, #Shenanigans crew, Epic Insanity, 20, Ms. Noid, Murph, Coltrane, Sprout, Evilani. Have we already read this? No. Okay.
No.
Evilani, Major Death, Merc, Conan, Barf, Nate, and the whole Thor movie crew, Pasha, Pat, Jules, and so many more. We're all fam. Love you all. Vash. Yeah. I never spent enough time. There's just like, oh man, I really want to spend more time with Lonnie and Ash, and I just want to spend more time with Vash. I just want to spend time with everyone. But it was really awesome to sit down with Vash for sure.
Ash says, forget about me. Well, my good friend, I think we just did.
We already told. No, did we? Oh yeah, Barf already told your story.
Yes.
Ash, I promise.
Ash, who's he? Some nobody, probably.
Some lame nobody.
Some lame nobody.
Guy.
Ash the lame nobody.
That's in his Twitter bio now, by the way. He embraced it.
It is. So it's legit. That means that's what it is.
He's a lame nobody. He's the only one who asked about like when on Taurus comes out.
Yeah.
All right, and our last shout out is from Navox, who shouts out Carl's Jr. because they are our sponsor.
Wait, when did that happen?
Do
we get all you can eat curly fries? Because that's all I care about.
Are they sending money? Are they sending cheeseburgers in the mail? How do they? What are they getting?
There's a photo.
I don't know. We have to ask Navox.
Do y'all know what this is from? I
don't. I don't. I just want curly fries.
There's a photo of me and Barf at the chicken plate, the chicken and waffles, Roscoe's. And in the background, behind some trees, is half of a Carl's Jr. sign. And Navox is like, this is brought to you by Carl's Jr. And I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And I looked at it, I had to blow up the picture. I'm like, oh, there's half a Carl's Jr. sign 100 yards behind us.
Leave it to Navox.
Navox is kind of my hero at the same time. Yeah. Just, you know what? Our Twitter account right now. If you go to our Twitter account, converted_CTR at convert. No. It looks a lot better because
did we switch things?
He switched things around. Oh, he even changed it and made it. Oh man. I said, it's ugly, Navox, please help, and he just did it.
Oh, we have a new picture.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it.
So. Yeah, and because Navox is awesome. It's beautiful because Navox touched it.
Why isn't Vashir on there? That
is we'll talk. No, I had
This
nothing
side
to
of the
do-
screen. This side of the screen is Team Vashir, and everybody else can go swim in a lake.
Listen, listen, all water levels are wrong.
Wrong.
Well, let me do the chat room shoutouts. We actually had a couple. Unless it catches up, and I'll give it a second to talk here about. You can still get that in. First one though, this came really early in the show before we were even live. Frog Sprout is shouting out Silverbolt because her birthday is the 14th, which is tomorrow for us, but not for some people because we have some people who it's already the 14th. But shout out to Silverbolt.
Happy birthday in an
Hey,
hour,
Tink.
Silver.
Tink, where's your? Did I miss your shout out? I'm gonna scroll up. I don't think I missed your shout out. Anyway, we have a second shout out here. Shout out Zeph to the Lich King. Hopefully he will give me his mount. I am still waiting for that Dingle Bomb to give me his mount. Tink, I don't see a shout out.
Tink says hers
Twitter.
was on the Twitter, but I don't see it in the feed.
Tink is a boy.
Sorry.
Tink, can, if you want to do it here, I will say it.
Do it, Tink. Do it here.
Do
You know,
it
I
here.
just don't believe
Do
it
it now.
man.
Do it, man.
I think he's trolling.
But yes, I'll type it. Fine, I know typing's so hard, but yes. So while he's doing that, Barf, do you have any shout outs? I already did hers. So I stole your line, but that's fine.
I definitely, absolutely do. I couldn't possibly say everybody because, you know, it would basically be me listing off all of the attendees at BlizzCon. Like I said at the beginning of the show, if I had any interaction with you at all, it made me like super happy. To literally every person I talked to was like the most positive and like just fun and just excellent person. But in particular, you know, people who I saw at the con that like I really spent a lot of time with, people like Cuddles and Sprout and Swayze and Vash and Eve and Maja. Thank you guys so much for like I would walk up to you and you just would say, yeah, let's all talk and have fun and be friends. Pat and Jules and Turarts and the party planners, just, you know, everybody that was running the CTR party just did an amazing job. Let's see. Oh, and my fantastic and wonderful roommates. Sal was there for a night. We had Silver, Buttress, Intense, Rimph, Tyliance, Trebogage, and Bree. You guys were like the best roomies I could have hoped for. Everybody was super cool. Everybody was very clean. Nobody smelly. Nothing weird. No odd things. Everything was just the best. So thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for just easily the best vacation of my life, and I can't wait until next year because I'm doing it all over again.
Awesome sauce. Ash, I'm still waiting for Tink, so how about you have at it? What are your shout outs?
What's my shout out, guys? My shout out goes to Ash again because I want to make sure we didn't forget mention him.
All right, and then I got Tink's finally. So Tink says, shout out to Dev, Tootroot, my friends, Sal for being so sweet to my kiddo and wife, Cuddles for being cuddly, Totem and Carm for the hellos, Eva, Lonnie, and Hubs and Disney Group for the meetup hellos, and Barf for not punching me when I grabbed him at Disney. Asher McCorden for being like me.
Huh.
So yeah.
I would never punch someone in Disney. Anywhere else, yeah, sure.
I can see you being a scared puncher, like someone grabs you and you just go, pow! I can see you being a scared puncher.
Are you a scared puncher, Barf?
Yeah, but not when it's a fella as, I'm going to say, tall. I'll say tall as Tink.
I was trying to figure out, because, again, I've met probably like 20 people in real life in the guild 4.5 years ago. I'm trying to judge how tall Barf is, and I can't. I was looking at pictures, and I'm like, are you Cuddles tall? Are you not Cuddles
Almost.
tall?
Not quite. Not quite.
I can't figure this out.
Cuddles has like an inch or two on me.
That's
Well,
your
Cuddles is he's 6'4", and I can, because I have family that's
Cuddles
6'4",
not
so I can.
6'4".
That's what he told me.
He was wearing his tall shoes that day, I think. I would have put him at
6'3".
I would have put him at 6'2".
He said he was. What is he? Because he does this spiel on our podcast. Maybe it is 6'3". But anyway, that's I have this ideal. Anyway.
So Cuddles is your ideal height?
Oh no! My ideal height.
Cuddles is my
we won't
ideal
get
height.
into this. This is gonna go down a really weird path. God, I've said too much. Moving on, shout outs to me. Thank you for everyone who hung out during the live stream because we had some funness. It was a rough start, but we slid in smooth. We got to see a lot of great people. I'm using really bad wording tonight, and I think we need to move on to whatever we do after shout outs. What do we do after shout outs, Barf?
We leave.
We leave. Okay. let's leave.
That's gonna wrap us up for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank Navox and Geek Chic Lisa for the theme music, and to Where's the Cajun for pumping us up every week. You can find us on Twitter at @converted_CTR. Turarts is at Turarts. Sal is at Summer_Sal, and Esh is at Eshelon. I am at Barfolomew_CTR. Sal, when is the next episode?
Hey, you can catch the next episode on November 27th. That's 2 weeks from now. Next week's Thanksgiving, which is just like, when did Thanksgiving just happen? Okay, but the week after that, the Monday, it's the 27th. The day before, and Taurus comes out, you can see us right here. Right here.
And who do we have on? Do we know who we have on?
You know
It's a
what? You're
surprise.
not supposed to ask that
Okay.
if I don't say it.
Oh, guys, it's going to be a total surprise because I'm making it a surprise. It's totally a surprise. We're so excited for our surprise guest. God, I'm on a roll.
It's a surprise on purpose. We're going to say goodbye now, everybody. For Turarts.
Bye.
For Sal.
See you later.
For Ash.
There we go.
I love it.
And for myself. We'll see you next time, everybody.
Bye.
You can follow the show on Twitter at @converted_CTR. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Converted Podcast. And find us on our Twitch channel, Converted Podcast. And join us live every other Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
This podcast is a part of the Signals Media All-Star Network. For more information on this and other fine shows, go to signalsmedia.com. It's okay to stick our stuff in your ears. Really.
How good was that show?
That was
Great.
It was a long show, but it was a good show.
It was good.
It was-
It didn't feel long.
The BlizzCon energy that's still kind of lingering and just pushes every conversation a little longer.
I mean, we could have wrapped up the Kaz and Frosty interview. We absolutely could have. But did you want to? I didn't
They were
want to.
No.
fascinating, and they kept having awesome things to say. Like, what am I supposed to, like, we're talking to this amazing thing, and we're going to do the processing. This is what happens when you, wow, that's really great. All right, see you
Yeah.
later. We're going to bring on, and we're just going to change the subject suddenly. I don't
We're
know,
just
man.
going to change the subject? No, that wasn't going to happen. Like, yeah, it's a 2-hour show.
Oh, well.
Okay, it's a 2-hour show. You know, I had one tissue for crying and one tissue for snotting. 2 different ones.
Oh,
That's
I'm
important.
a little perturbed that I don't have Tink's shout out. Like, I don't know what I did wrong. Like, I'm
No.
I'm in the converted.
wrong.
Like, I did
Listen,
the
It
Tink
might be-
deck.
Tank did it
just
wrong.
didn't put it because he's a troll.
Tank.
Tink's a troll.
Trolling me.
Okay.
I'll remember that for next time.
Yeah, he was trolling you, and then he's like,
Next time
shit.
next
I
time
gotta-
he'll have a shout out.
I gotta
I'll make
figure
it
out
up.
a shout out really quick. Oh,
I'll make it up.
Actually,
I'll come up
should
with
do
a
that
shout
anyway.
out for him.
do it.
you
Right.
Oh, he's
should
getting,
Me?
do it anyway.
No.
he's getting spicy in chat.
And
Yeah.
Ash, I support this. I support this. Old Pope. Did Dr. Pope change his Twitch handle to Old
Old-
Pope?
Oh, did he?
No.
I gotta see that.
Is this why I haven't noticed Dr. Pope in chat all night?
Well, no, he said created June 2017.
But
Created
I
recently.
think he changed his name though.
Dr. Pope, are you old Pope? He did. He says he did.
Back
in my day,
people
by
had a
the-
name and they stuck to it.
By the way, you guys want to do Ahead of the Curve with us tomorrow? Are you guys available?
I do need that. Still. So if you
Tomorrow?
have a spot, I will just let me know a time.
You need that, Barf?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to be raiding.
You're going to be raiding
What time?
tomorrow?
What time are we talking about?
We raid 8 Eastern to 11 Eastern. So 5
7.
to 8.
Yeah,
7
I'm going to be most of that time. I'm going to be in raid.
Okay.
Let me put me down as a maybe because we have to go finish the financing for the Buick tomorrow, and I don't know how long that's going to take. So I will.
Turarts is a maybe. Well, we'll probably be at KJ around 10:30 Eastern, depending on how the raid goes.
I might definitely be able to make the KJ kill part, which I feel guilty about just popping in for the main event. But last time
it's not a big deal because actually KJ, believe it or not, with Hugs in the raid, KJ is easier than Maiden. KJ is easier than Maiden with
Maiden? Well, people can screw up Maiden. Listen.
Maiden is so much personal responsibility that if you're out of sync at all, and if you're up to like, and when
you don't
we
want
bring
me for Maiden.
Now you
when we
say
bring
one
people
thing
in,
about me right now.
We bring people in, like sometimes the raid size gets up to like 25 or 26, and we have that many people. It's just so likely that
Listen,
somebody
it is
messes up.
frustrating. It's just green or yellow. It's just green or yellow. Just it pops up on your screen. It's not hard. You just go to the thing and you stand there, or you stand in the other place. There's 2 places to stand. You're either green or you're yellow.
Out of 25 people, there's always one that just I fucked. Oh man, I messed up. And it's like, but we all have to be perfect.
Plus is on the
Aetheric-
left, mine is on the
is
right.
in chat right now going, what colors? Okay, we'll talk tomorrow about what colors. You and I will talk tomorrow, Aetheric, about what colors. I don't know. I'm not actually mad.
I like this character who you're playing.
It is a kind of guy.
But yeah, T, if you can come, and Barf, I don't know what 10:30 looks like for you if you're still raiding.
10:30s. I'm gonna be ankles deep in raid right then, man. It's gonna be.
Okay. That's too bad. But...
I already got carried by your team for ahead of the curve, and I appreciate it. And I absolutely didn't do that while our regular raid team was raiding.
These DPS, man, they just feel like they can just do whatever they feel like.
I think she did.
Some of us on the healer
who can feign death like a boss, let me know.
Some of us play healers, and we don't feel comfortable just abandoning our raid team.
I think Kaz replied like to one of our tweets, but we haven't got Kaz in yet either. So we're gonna try and do that. I think Lonnie is reaching out now.
Seth. Yeah, listen. Someone always screws up the colors. I am not the best raider in the world. I'm not even halfway. I'm not like, no, I'm not. Okay. But that's one mistake I haven't made until tomorrow. Because I've said that's.
We need to make sure this is streamed so we can clip it, and next show be like, you remember when Sal was like, it's just blue, it's just yellow? We can be like, what color?
It's fell.
It's blue, is it?
I'm gonna
Maybe
be
you're the problem.
feign
It's
death
blue?
in the corner.
You're the problem.
It's blue, is it?
I have no idea what this.
Listen, it just.
Arch just jumps in the pit right when you
Done.
pull the boss. Right when you pull the boss, just jump in the pit. Okay, guys, sorry I died. Don't know what.
And then they kill the boss, and you're like, I'm still falling.
Right? Pretty much.
Oh god.
That is legit one of the deepest pits in the game.
I'm checking. Probably still getting trolled, but I'm checking.
No, he sent me a message. I will vouch for Tink. He sent me a message. He did get it to us on time. I have the screenshots. 8:03. Well, what's your time? Is your time Central Time or are you Mountain Time? He's Mountain Time, which would be 8. Wait, hold on. That equals 10:03, and that's not on time. If you're Mountain.
It's texting me.
If you're Mountain.
Like the tweet deck thing I have has converted _
Your Central,
CTR,
okay.
and I see
he had it on time.
I see all of the tweets that were at converted _ CTR.
I thought you were Colorado.
I don't see.
Well, Colorado and Texas at the same time. No, it's Rocky
Colorado's Mountain. Yep.
They're basically the same.
He did have it.
That
he
must
did
be what
have
it
it
is.
on time.
I haven't blocked apparently.
You have him blocked.
Apparently.
I mean, anyone should, really. Anyone should. I mean, Tink is just a vulgar troll. Do you know that Tink has businesses in several different states?
That's where I get the Colorado.
Well, no. He lives in Colorado with his family's there. But I'm just telling all his personal business right now. But like he works in Texas and Oklahoma, and he goes back and forth all the time. By the way, Tink, you and I need to talk because I talked to your boyfriend, and apparently my my spine is fine, so I need to talk to a physical trainer.
All right.
Yeah. Not trainer, therapist. Therapist.
I just assumed you were going to get swole. I just figured, part of the whole healthy back thing was bulking up them muscles.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Pope told me that I needed to get a shake weight.
Do the shake weight thing? Yeah. I'll get a shake weight with you, and we can let's just shake weight it up. We can
Good night, folks.
Shake weights, and then we can just stream.
I'm not kidding.
Shake
I can
weights.
send you the screenshot. Because I'm like, I gotta get exercise, but it's really hard for me. I can't walk or jog or anything because my hip hurts so bad.
I think we need to get shake weights. I'm for this. Shake weight, sponsor us.
Well, and then he's like, oh, shake weight. Like, how do I respond to that?
I don't feel like, is it because you know what? We're just not going to. I had thoughts, and we're not going to go down here because I think we're good. I think we're good tonight. I think we did well. I think we did.
Wait a minute. Let me give you another way to train that motion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Barf is like, nope.
Barf's out of the seat. He's not even going to touch it. Oh.
Hey, Barf, how you doing?
It's good.
Things are good.
I mean,
I'm in New Jersey. I'm not in California, but you know how it is.
Come to Iowa. We have beer and corn.
We have those things in New Jersey. Plus, we have tomatoes.
We have sweet corn, though, that you can just go to some guy's car in the middle of, like, the highway and pick it up.
I'm trying to pick up corn from random strangers in their cars, so that's actually lines up perfectly with my life goals. I appreciate the invitation. I'll be there tomorrow.
Does. I have 3 guys along the way from my house to my parents' house. It's like a 70-mile stretch. If you want corn, I can tell you who the best ones are.
Just throwing corn at each other across the highway.
It's a thing. No, this is a legit thing. We usually stop on the highway to, like, other states do this too, don't they?
Yeah, they definitely do.
Back of people's cars, outside my house. But
this isn't just a Midwest thing. Please tell me other states do this, because no, literally, like you drive down, like you go down 80. Let's see, you got 80, got 35, 218, I-380.
We have a bunch of numbers in New Jersey too. Don't act like you're special.
No, like any one of these ones, like you got lined up produce trucks. You have people who have like fancy ones too, but those ones sometimes they get a little ahead of themselves, so it's not actually as good as just like the mom and pop one where they have like the old beat up Ford with just the hatchback up. And
now we don't have those in Tennessee because the food inspector runs them off if they're not permitted, and that's the food inspector over there.
Oh, Lonnie's snap!
Right.
God, no, like, yeah, you just.
So
them
are
the
there
old
no taco trucks near your home?
If they're
No,
licensed,
there's not.
I'm sure it's
Oh,
fine.
No, we don't have
The pickup truck with the corn, and the guy throwing it across the interstate, he's not licensed. He's not permitted to do that. So
What if he was a licensed corn thrower?
I need to find out if you can do this. Licensed
corn shucker.
We don't have taco trucks here either, as far as I'm aware. We have to go to buildings to get our tacos.
Okay, so I brought up corn blowing. Like, what is this?
You got your safe search on, right?
I typed throwing. I don't know why it's bringing up blowing.
We're live. You realize that?
We are live.
Okay.
Okay, amongst us, who actually has safe search on their computer?
Not I.
No,
Not I.
but
whatever.
it seemed like a fun joke.
You can never find what you really want that way.
Exactly. I'm gonna look up corn blowing. Like,
Go for it, T. Tell us what you find.
That's not.
this
We're
is
scared off Zeph. Good night, Zeph.
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna open incognito. I don't want that stuff on my cache. Okay, corn. I can hear Lonnie laughing. Images. Nah, it's all right.
It's okay.
It's all right. You can do
I
this.
say it's not bad. I'm wondering if you spell
I'm not
blowing
going near it.
differently though.
Not going there. I'm just gonna hold on to my little squeaky friend.
No, but there is a 13-second video of corn just wistfully blowing through the wind.
Hey, that sounds like the very first converted episode. The beginning of the converted Belschnickel made this thing. It was like, in a world where something has ascended a multitude of raiders. They were called the converted. It was like a guy like walking through wheat. And it was blowing. And they were known as the converted.
Oh God.
I can't
We've come
do
a
the
long
voice.
way, folks.
Wow, that first episode was terrible. Was
Start
just
somewhere.
awful. And it was
Yeah, that's what
with a
happens, though.
raid team liaison. A guy named Took,
Took.
I think. And he
What
was
is-
wearing like a dirty, like white undershirt with a window behind him. It was like, ooh, like your pit stains though. No, and like no, it wasn't that bad. No, and he was really nice to come on. But like nowadays, like if someone favorite tagline, tickle, yeah. So I for years I pretended I hated the tickle thing.
You did.
But I didn't actually hate it. That's kind of like it's a character.
Yeah.
You know, like where me and Belschnickel,
Like,
I'm like, oh, he's
Angry
so funny.
at colors Sal, and angry at tickling Sal. I think angry at Sal is just the character.
Well,
But your
I
only
mean,
character?
It's like
Is it really a character?
Do you have like a fun circus person? Do you have like a...
Speaking
your
of
other
fun
characters?
circus, I saw the movie preview for Hugh Jackman's new one, The Greatest Show, or what is it? It's a circus one. It looks amazing. But I love Hugh Jackman. So
you get like I was playing off of Belschnickel. Like
Yeah.
he was this whole like silly. I'm like, oh, you don't do that type thing.
I know. I listened to the show back then. It was fun.
Barf's been a long time follower.
Yeah, I listen to things. Got 2 ears and I shove all kinds of stuff in them.
It's
Just
okay.
Just like Pat
This-
told me I could.
Every time that thing came on, we don't still play it? No, we still play it. Yeah, we do. We
Yeah,
still play
it's
it. I just heard it.
He's my dad,
okay to
apparently.
play
Did you
yourself.
know that?
Yeah,
How does that work?
I can
don't
see
know.
it.
I don't know.
You guys have the hair thing every now and then. Every
It
now and
makes
then, how
sense.
does hair get?
I don't know how it makes sense, but
He got
Okay.
me soon. It was
say
funny.
that,
He-
and I just kind of
Tink,
nod, and I
if
just
you're talking, you're
feel like,
trolling.
yeah.
Yeah, I think Tink trolled this.
Like if your mouth is open,
Except for he's always sweet to me. Like I don't think he's ever trolled me.
okay, at the CTR party,
Oh shit balls. Tink, if
I
you do
was-
something I'm not there, it doesn't count.
I was talking to Mrs. Tink, and I walked up. And the thing is, I knew who she was because I'd seen so many photos of her over the years. The first time I ever saw a photo of Mrs. Tink was when Tink it's like 4 years ago, and Tink had like too many drinks, and he starts showing me photos of his family and starts crying.
Oh.
He's like, oh, this is so beautiful. And anyway, so I knew exactly who she was. And that's what I said. So I'm walking up and I was seeing Tink's daughter, whom I'd already met. And surprise, there's Tink's wife. And I was like, oh, I know exactly who you are. And she was scared. Like,
Especially if you said it like that, yeah.
that's how I said it.
Yep.
So, and she's gorgeous. She's like She's really pretty. I mean, look, her daughter looks just like her. Thank God. Otherwise, she'd look like Tink.
Tink, your daughter is so freaking beautiful.
And like it's like a mini me to his wife. And so I'm talking to her, and Tink walks up with like 2 drinks in his hand. And I just took one of them.
You didn't.
That's not quite true. No. I'm like, oh hey, you've got drinks, and he gave me one. But I'm like, hey, what's up? I don't have a drink. Yeah, the CTR party was so good. It was so good.
All right.
Well, we should probably wrap it up, huh?
Yeah, it's 10:17. It's 11:17 for you.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I've been trapped in this basement for 3 days, in this like luxurious basement for 3 days. But tomorrow I'm going to work. I'm going to go to the World Trade Center. Yeah.
Lysol everything, and you'll be just fine.
Lysol my face.
Do it.
Close your eyes beforehand.
Get all the germs up out of there. Get them out.
Yeah, my boss is like, if you're sick, do not come here.
God, my boss is like, can you work? Can you move? Do it. Like,
no, because I can work from home. Like I can, you know.
Damn it.
I worked today. I did not have a day off, but I just did it from the basement instead of from my 10th floor in the tower. I have a really nice like view from my office. You ever see that Turarts on Twitter?
I've seen your pictures. Yeah, I'm always like, I need to move to New York and figure out how to get a better job than I have now. And I'm like, no, stay in Iowa.
No, I'm lucky to have my desk up against a window on Greenwich Avenue. You know, it's pretty cool. But I'll never have that again. That's like a total weird thing to have.
I don't want anything to do with New York. That place is smelly. Silverbolt was telling me she's going to move out to California and be a firefighter. I'm thinking about I'm going to crash on her couch and live out there for the rest of my life. It's going to be nice.
Great.
I like it.
So
we have
one of you
life
social
plans.
media junkies are going to have to help me out here. I literally defined Tink's tweet. This is what I had to do. Okay, and he even tagged me, and I found where he tagged me, but I can only find it if I go to his Twitter page and I click on tweets and replies. And I scroll down to the
How
tweet.
did he start the tweet off? Did he start it off with a person that he tagged it in, or did he start it off with a word?
Started off with @convertedCTR.
Then we should be able to see it.
Wait a minute.
I go into TweetDeck though, and I'm searching @convertedCTR. It's not there.
Have I ever given you the password to our Twitter?
I don't think you've given it to him. I think he needs it.
That's why. That's why.
It's ABC123 password.
It's password 123. Yeah.
With an exclamation point.
Talk. Like if you're gonna be doing this, you need to. I mean, everyone's got it now. I mean, Navox changed it today.
Oh, did he? I can still log in. I don't care. Never mind.
It might be the same.
The TweetDeck shouldn't, if I just do a search for a tag, it should tell me everything. It doesn't matter if I'm logged in as that or not.
Well, that's not a tag though. The
That's
tag
not.
is a hashtag thing.
What I mean
If you
is
start with an @ usually you have to be that person's account to see it. So like
I see
if
so many though. I saw all the ones that I put up.
but I don't think they started as ats. I think they started with words. They're like, hey, @converted. But if you start with @converted, like if I @Sal, she'll see it, but you won't unless you go into other things. I think that's how it works.
It's because Ash doesn't follow the converted.
And that might be the problem too, Ash. Way to go.
Shit,
I think he does though. But
I follow.
No, we just need to give you the credentials so you can like actually like see it. Maybe you can open up Hootsuite or something, and it's like boom,
Almost got
right
me,
there.
Sal, but I follow.
All you guys with your Twitter apps.
All you guys with
Okay,
your phones.
so there,
that work.
so what
everybody's
Dee
a
is
working
explaining
phone,
to
isn't
me
that nice?
though, I think I understand now, is if you start with words, it'll show up in a search. If
But
you
if
start
you
with
start-
words and you put an @ in there somewhere, it'll show up in a search. But if you start with the @ CTR or whatever, it only shows up in their feed.
Yeah, I think if you had, because he did at other people too. So if you had searched like @CK Holm or @Mark Conan, you probably would have found it because they were later on in the feed. But I don't think you're going to see it since he started with it. Pat Crane explained this to me once
I'm bad.
because
at
I asked
social
why
media.
he
I
put
don't-
periods before his @, and he's like, "Well, other people won't see it." I'm like, "Oh,
Got it.
okay." So, but yeah.
Okay.
Barf looks like he's fallen asleep. So I will say chat room, 2.5 hours with you, and it's been lovely.
I'm really happy, and my heart is grown.
Grown
5-year
3 sizes
anniversary,
this day.
people. All right. Good night, chat room.
Good night, everybody.
Not everybody.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Or whatever it is Pat says.
Bye-bye, everybody.
There it is.
Bye-bye.
That's it.